Hello there, everyone. Welcome to the Frogman Games Anime and Podcast. This is Dave Ramsey. I'll be a guest host today. Our friend Frogman's having some trouble getting his friends together, it sounds like. I actually have known Frogman for quite a while. And I was to be honest with y'all, I know that y'all are not my ideal audience, and I was a little bit wary of having my name next to this channel after I'd seen a couple of the episodes. Just some real uninspiring stuff. Like I said, me and Frogman have been friends. He does pay for the yearly cruise. He is part of the Dave Ramsey club. Been a donator for a long time, and pretty large donator. And we were actually talking on the last cruise about how he's having trouble, getting his friends together and get this podcast off the ground. And I told him, I think it's funny. Usually the younger generation's the ones that's supposed to be real good at this. You hear about all these young kids becoming TikTokers and stuff. And, here he is trying to appeal to, I feel like I appeal to a very, very general audience, and there's just not a lot of room for rudeness, for hateful comments, just a lot of toilet humor in those podcasts. So he's left me with some links. Like I said, not my ideal, kind of work I'd like to be doing, but he is, a big investor in the Dave Ramsey program and keeping our YouTube afloat. And I told him, I can step in, and I think I can get your YouTube to 3,000, 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So and that's without plugging myself. Obviously want to have my name there, want to let y'all know that Dave Ramsey is doing the podcast, but at the same time I don't want y'all to think that I'm trying to turn this into just a Dave Ramsey thing. I still want to make this about, like the name of the channel is Frogman Games Anime, and Frogman has left me some links to sit here and discuss with you guys. But more than that, just wanted to kind of introduce myself and get y'all up to speed on what's going on. Dr. X and some of the other cohorts they had on here, just deeply, troubled. Keep them in your prayers, and they're just some of these guys are just so out of it that they don't even know. Frogman was telling me, he told him, can you download? I think it's called some kind of like Skype program, something like that. Just download this app so that we can make this work a little better. And they were just so out of it. Just keep them in your prayers. They didn't know how to download an app. But that's we're going to keep this the same. We're going to be talking about games, and maybe we're going to have some interviews here toward the end. But I'll go over the links that I was left here today, and I'll leave y'all with that. All right, thank you. All right, so what we got here, some links from Frogman. Like I said, this is the Games and Anime podcast, so we're going to talk about some games and anime. So right here, first on the list, Assassin's Creed Shadow. Assassin's Creed Shadow is the lowest selling release across the last 5 entries. I don't remember buying this one for my kids, but I think that it's good. A lot of this, people are wasting their time with this crap. So it's good to see that people are kind of coming to their senses and not spending their time. This is a game where you pretend to be a ninja or something along those lines, it looks like. And big red letters all over this ninja here says failure. So it says Mirage, Assassin's Creed Mirage was the RPG that came before this one, and that one sold a little better, and now they're selling less. So what does this say about controversies, depictions of the feudal Japan set, and I don't know about any of that. All right, let's move on to the next link. And this is supposed to last me, according to FrogCast, this is supposed to last me till about an hour, and we're already through the first one. That was a very short link, but I'm the one who kind of took him up on this challenge, so I'll be fair. We'll work something out. This one titled Rurouni Kenshin is the most problematic anime of the 90s and belongs in the past. For many years, Rurouni Kenshin, I remember, kind of that Pokemon and stuff around when my kids were growing up. And I think that was around this time. I don't remember this one. Says, Rurouni Kenshin has not aged well. Beneath the idealism lies a disturbingly romanticized view of history and morality. This is a little too much for me. At its heart is a redemption story. I think here is a picture. Don't have that. I just kind of have the audio set up here, but we can maybe put up a picture of Rurouni Kenshin up somewhere. Redemption story that equates peace with personal forgiveness rather than accountability. Then there is a real-world stain that cannot be. Then their creator Nobuhiro Watsuki was found guilty of possessing child exploitation materials in 2017. Oh, okay. Well, I don't really know what he was wanting me to do with this. Child exploitation materials. I think that. Okay, so I don't really know what to make of that. So we'll stop that there. I don't really know what to say about that. Japanese government proposes new policy for anime and game expansion in the West. No interference. All right. And last, what we were supposed to talk about is Sydney Sweeney refuses to apologize. I can probably talk about this. Sydney's. How much time I got? All right. Well, we'll get into Sydney Sweeney refusing to apologize for her American Eagle jeans ad. I'm going to leave y'all with some AC/DC cover music while we kind of get into that story. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is, again, Frogman Anime Games. All right. New news headline: Sydney Sweeney refuses to apologize for the American Eagle jeans ad in an interview. So they tried to get this singer. I believe she sings the songs about that song Espresso on the radio. I think she did one. I've seen her in a couple places. I think that's. Who is Sydney Sweeney? Let's look up Sydney Sweeney. This is on my computer here. Sydney Sweeney, singer? Question mark. Sydney Sweeney, AI says Sydney Sweeney is not primarily a singer. Singer confused. No, I thought that she was a singer. No, she's an actress. All right. So they tried to get her to apologize. She's not apologizing for being aligned with Trump. It's just, it's. Let's get to some calls. Frogman is here in the studio with me. He's shaking his head. He's writing something on a piece of paper. He said that I'm thinking of Sabrina Carpenter. Let me look up Sabrina Carpenter. He's actually on the other side. We're in my studio today. Sabrina Carpenter. That's the same. Is that not? I guess they look, though, pretty similar. He's shaking his head. He's not letting me have this. Okay. Well, I respect Sydney Sweeney, standing up for what she believes. She seems to be a big fan of Trump, and we all are here at are y'all? No, he's shaking his head no, because and he's drawing something, and he's drawing there's a Star of David on the paper. Okay, all right. Well, that's kind of rude. Well, with that being said, we have an interview here with Sydney Sweeney. Am I correct? No, he says. Okay. All right. Well, let's. No Sydney Sweeney interview. Okay. Let's just go ahead and get into. Maybe we open up the phones to some callers. We are live right now on YouTube. We have some viewers. Let's go ahead and let's open the phones. All right, and you are on the Frogman Game Anime Podcast. This is Dave Ramsey. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Dave Ramsey. I was just wondering, is the reason you're doing the podcast because you ran out of money and you have to do a video game anime podcast for Frog Guy?
No, and this is kind of the thing I wanted to avoid people thinking. I don't want to go into business finances are very complicated, and I just feel like I'm giving away a little too much information every time I talk about it. But the situation between me and Frogman is not that of necessarily debt. I'm not in necessarily indebted, and this does not reflect on the Dave Ramsey brand in any kind of way. Yeah. All right. That's enough of that. Next caller. Hello.
Oh, hey, Dave Ramsey. I had a question about my student loans or something. Can you help me with that? I'm in debt with my student loans.
Oh yeah, sure thing, Sweet Pea. And how much are you in debt?
Yeah, so I'm about $130,000 in debt. But I was actually had a question more related to in your book. Something you say about dealing with student loan debts. It says here that you got rid of your student loan debts by sucking men's penises until you made. All
right. That's enough of that. Get her off my damn computer. Frogman, was that you? He's shaking his head. No. All right. I don't have to put up with that kind of disrespect. Was that really one of y'all's callers? Do you believe that the words like that could come out of a lady's mouth? This is a whole different crowd, man. I can take it. Don't say nothing funny about that when me saying I could take it, but I can deal with it. I don't have time. I don't have time to waste on this kind of crap. All right. No more, none of that. Can you not put a filter on the computer, so I don't have to deal with this kind of nonsense? Jeez Louise. All right. I'll keep doing these. Let's get some serious callers, guys. All right, you're on Dave Rent. Sorry, it's a Frogman Games Anime Podcast. You're on.
Hey man, Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys got charged with sexual assault. Did you hear about that?
No, I don't know what that is. That's some kind of band? Is it something y'all like? It don't surprise me one bit that someone from it got caught doing sexual assault. All right, next caller, you're on, Frogman.
Well, it's about time. Hello there, Dave Ramsey. I'm sorry about your shitty callers today.
Thank you. That's quite all right.
So I wanted to ask you, what do you think about Zoran Mamdani winning the mayoral election in New York City? And what do you think of his wife's art? And also, on a scale of 1 to 10, how attractive do you think Zoran Mamdani, his wife, is?
All right, that's a bit of a rude question. I'm not happy about the Democratic Socialists, whatever they want to call it, in New York. Just kind of goes to show, they must be losing their minds over there. I know they're real crowded. I think if you've ever been to New York, it just seems like everyone there is crazy. So in a way, I'm not really super surprised. As for his wife's art, I think it is pretty horrendous. Both technically, just low skill level there, and what it's about. Just makes you wonder how these people kind of stay afloat in that area. It's truly a weird place. New York is. I'm going to decline to comment on her appearance, and let's do one more call. All right, you're on, Frogman.
Hello there, Dave. I'm one of Frogman's friends. I just sent in a picture to Frogman. I believe he will show it to you. But these are some characters from one of the animes that we watch called Pawnee Pony Dash. And if you could pick out which one of those girls you think is the most attractive to you, we'd love to kind of get your input on that. If you don't want to do that one, we also have... I also sent in the girls from Lucky Star, so you can pick any of those girls.
All right, Frogman's got the iPad pressed up against the glass, and I'm not really happy with what I'm looking at. It just looks like they all look like babies to me. I don't know what y'all want me to pick one. I'll pick the taller one with the glasses from that first image. Yeah, there's two tall ones with the glasses. It's fine, both of them. That'll do. All right, we're going to finish up today with a little story, I believe, from one of Frogman and his friends' books, and I'll leave that with y'all today as kind of my send off here. Thank y'all for tuning in. I think that this was
his wife Julia
pretty good.
is sensitive about things pertaining to time and behavior. Miguel felt the disgustingly warm breathing of the masses behind him. He wanted to get off the elevator as soon as possible. Miguel was met with papers, which made him restless. He looked at professionals in the office and felt hatred. They called upon him. They forced him to wear a mask to keep illness from spreading. Julia and the other patients were kept in an isolation room. Her illness was not a guaranteed fatality, but Miguel gathered a rough explanation of the illness from the news and magazines. The illness had something to do with the adrenal glands, and it is said that to startle a person afflicted with this illness is to incite death. He told himself not to upset Julia, just in case she would get worked up. He was startled by the strangeness of the room. The patients were packed like sardines next to each other. Whenever human beings are forced into situations where they must invade each other's personal space, associations between man and farm animals form. Miguel walked over to Julia and began to comb her hair with his hand.
Hey, Miguel, you're not late this time.
No, I was considerate.
Miguel turned his head to the right, observing a row of televisions intended for the patients. Every television played Bob Ross. Miguel looked concerned and curious, and motioned toward the televisions with his hand.
It's to protect us from fear. It's very soothing.
Julia rubbed Miguel's hand.
I'm so glad to see you. I wish I wasn't so sick. I'm horny.
Make sure you don't get worked up.
Miguel could make out an outburst of contempt from the bed right beside him. A portly man holding a book looked him in the eye, peering above his bifocals. Miguel never backed down from confrontation.
What the hell was that?
The sound of disgust. I don't want to hear about your relations. You don't want to initiate a heaving spell, do you? It could be potentially fatal for those afflicted.
Miguel reined himself in.
No, certainly not. I meant no offense.
None taken, I forgive you. My name's Kearns.
Nice to meet you. My name is Miguel Vasquez, and this is my wife, Julia Vasquez.
I know your wife. We talk.
What?
Me and your wife have very charming discussions.
Miguel looked at Julia. She shrugged.
Interesting way to put it. You sure have a different mannerism than most people.
I'm Kearns.
Kearns shrugged. Miguel's eyes were wide open as he shook his head up and down in illusory rapport.
Kearns who, if I may ask?
You may not.
And so this summed up their discussion with Kearns, who was intent on reading. Around 30 minutes later, Miguel was glad to dismiss himself. The hospital gave him chills. Miguel gave his goodbye to Julia, yet while he was heading toward the door, he stopped suddenly and turned around. He peeled the mask quickly from his face and gave Julia a goodbye kiss. She smiled and waved goodbye. Miguel was now officially on his way out, now with a feeling of closure, until this feeling was interrupted by Kearns.
Bad move, Bud.
I know.
See you soon, Bud. If you have children, don't touch them.
Miguel exited the room, annoyed at the direct Kearns. Miguel knew many a man like Kearns, a stickler for every unwritten rule in the book, except for those intimate ones formed spontaneously by emotional connection to human beings. A robot programmed of selfishness, not servitude. The rest of the day went along like a nightmare, and after having a real nightmare, he woke up to a nightmare. Miguel was in the hospital, as far away from Julia as the staff could manage. He motioned towards a nurse while rubbing his eyes with one hand.
Excuse me, ma'am, but I have a favor to ask. Would you ask the man called Kearns if he would be willing to swap beds with me?
I am sorry, that's not possible.
Miguel noticed movement from across the room. It was Kearns. He was wagging his tongue and flashing his eyes. Miguel allowed himself a moment of silence. He was furious, but once his heart started pumping unusually hard and his whole head began to throb. He forced himself to focus on Bob Ross. Calm down, Miguel. Calm down, Miguel. Calm down, Miguel. Miguel had a mantra taught to him by his psychiatrist, Bob Glass. It didn't work. He decided in the moment to stop seeing Bob, who wasn't worth the hefty price. Miguel knew that he could absolutely not get angry under his current condition.
Besides, this Kearns guy, he's forced to use his hand. He looks like a 50-something-year-old dude, but I bet he's still a virgin. Fucking prick. No, calm down. But of course, you know this Kearns guy. This guy works at a grocery store. Huh? Kearns is talking to my wife. Damn. Well, I'll have to just listen.
He was chagrined to hear chuckles from Julia and Kearns' direction.
You know, I just got done heaving jewels, but I'm hungry. I emptied myself out, so I'm ready. It's partly because I've got first-class hospital attendance, which allows me benefits such as exclusive caviar, Cabernet Sauvignon, you name it, Jewel.
Oh, wow.
Here's a little deal. You tell me about it, and I'll tell you what. I'll get you your own dish of caviar. You ever try it?
No, I haven't. You're so kind, Kearns.
Miguel felt the pressure well up in his head.
Caviar? This asshole's rich.
Miguel felt like a clock hand spinning wildly out of control. He couldn't control his anger. He was almost as mad as that time he gave Julia the backhand. He regretted that bit of violence, but he would kill Kearns.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Calm down, Miguel. Calm down, Miguel. Calm down, Miguel. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Then suddenly, from Miguel erupted volcanic vomit. His bedsheets were anointed in corroded Vienna sausage and bourbon. His two best friends for depression. Two annoyed nurses in hazmats pulled curtains around Miguel and changed his clothes and sheets. As Miguel was naked and vulnerable, and surrounded by cold and calculating nurses, he could hear those distinctive chuckles. He almost cried. It was one of those flashback sobs, the ones that take you back to your childhood. But Miguel stopped himself. I can't let that prick know he's dominated me. I can't let him know he's won. Miguel decided to simply sleep off this terrible curse, this terrible day, and this terrible sickness. Unfortunately for him, his sleep was serrated. The nurses kept these nagging blue lights on. It was as if they expected patients to be so ill they wouldn't care. Miguel found himself awake at some point, and looking around the room, he found every patient to be asleep. He eyed Julia's beautiful, sickness-stricken face. He allowed his eyes to skirt the room somewhat, but they fell to rest on a horrible sight: blood on the apron. Nurses rushed into the room, so he squinted his eyes and pretended to sleep, so they wouldn't tell him to go to bed. The nurses made sure everyone was sleeping. Then they began to talk. The head doctor was present, it would seem. He spoke.
Patient 66, dead by stomach lining tear.
We should up the amount of water for the patients.
It's no use. The sickness is too severe. You know what purpose they serve now.
Yes, but...
No buts. The citizens of this city do not know that the ground pork shipments are too expensive to ship across the expansive desert, and they are not to know. It would start a rebellion. I'm getting paid for this. The Thelemites need the meat.
The lead doctor picked up the corpse with seemingly superhuman strength. What gave him such physical power? He stuck the back of the corpse onto a meat hook and closed the curtain. He was about to wheel the cadaver away until Miguel wailed out,
Awaken everyone! This hospital is hell, hell!
Miguel ran and tackled the doctor, but the doctor simply grabbed onto him and pounded him on the back with his fist. Miguel instantly let out a long and painful dry heave. The giant and strong doctor pounded away until Miguel heaved himself to death. All the patients were awake now, spewing volcanic vomit and dry heaving. Acidic caviar remains were on Julia and Kearns's aprons. The doctor started to panic as patients in the waiting room came to see what the commotion was all about. The doctor was shot by a Second Amendment advocate. All the commotion caused the patients to enter into severe dry heaving spells. Kearns was the only patient who remained alive. He was back to full health. He explained what happened to the news camera. He put gel in his hair before appearing in front of the camera.
How does it feel to be the only man who survived?
My condolences to the deceased patients at the hospital, but I'm feeling fine.